Good morning, everyone. Chill Girl Chrissy here, Alderman in Ward 6, and I'm running for mayor of Manchester because we want to make Manchester healthy again. And I'm so excited. I'm actually going to call him my co-host today, Rocco, who is a legend in Manchester.
Hello, everybody. Welcome.
And he wrote the book, Getting Things Off My Chest. Oh my God, I have a lot of things to get off my chest. But this is going to be a great program about making Manchester healthy again because we really, really care. And Eric from FITLAB is here, owner, co-owners. And I just wanted to, I feel like there's so much to share. Rocco is so thorough with details and everything. And I actually started his program back in, it was August or September when I met you and Jillian, even though I've known you a long time, when I started your program. So I just kind of want to dive into who you are, the people that don't know you, but who doesn't know Rocco?
Not in Manchester, right?
Right?
She doesn't let me go shopping. Head down and to the left. Don't look at anybody. We haven't got time.
We're on a mission to get things done.
Yes.
So we have a lot of stuff to get out today. We only have 30 minutes, but it's a wealth of knowledge, and your health really matters. And that's the beauty of it, is we're all concerned about our health, mind, body, and soul. And so I'm going to hand it off to my co-host, Rocco, to introduce yourself.
Well, thanks, Chrissy. Yes. Oh,
yeah.
For those of you who don't know me, because I've been here for the better part of, 60 some odd years, I've been a public figure, so to speak, for a very long time. I was a world champion powerlifter from 1990 to 1995.
Wow.
Got my degree in exercise physiology. While I was in school, I was also nominated to the National Dean's List 4 years in a row. I don't know if that makes me smart or not.
Wicked smart, as we say.
But my true passion, besides being a musician for a long time, was and still is fitness. And growing up in the fitness industry, I watched the transition from people being fairly healthy in the 70s to becoming very not healthy today, right? So something happened.
Yeah.
So over time, the food has changed.
Yes.
Right? The lack of activity for people, we're all sedentary now. We sit down instead of getting out and doing things that are laborious for work. So that whole transition from the food becoming more poor and the lack of activity has led to many, many, I don't want to call them medical problems. I want to...
A health crisis?
Well, they've turned to medical problems. In other words, 70% of our country is either overweight or 40 some odd percent is obese at this point, right? Well, when you take a look at that staggering figure, that's caused from lack of activity and poor food choices. That's not a medical problem, but yet our hospitals and our doctors are inundated by so much of this being a problem because it leads to health conditions. It leads to type 2 diabetes.
Yeah.
It leads to hypertension. It leads to cardiovascular disease and a plethora of other things that we need to be able to take back control of because it's out of control.
Yeah.
Healthcare costs are out of control.
Healthcare, yes, and it's pretty much our choices but we've been maneuvered into these choices of not really being healthy and making bad choices.
Well, I think
and the master manipulation of the media, the master manipulation of the food industry, our healthcare, where, hey, just pop a pill and everything's going to be all better, but actually you should go out for a walk, shake things off, shake it up, and show back.
Yeah. So this whole situation has transpired into where we are today. We need to reverse it, and the only way we're going to reverse it is if we go back to doing the things we used to do to become healthy, right? So I know that everything moves forward, but in the healthcare situation, we have to actually move backwards because at one time we were a healthier nation. Now you can pick up pictures from the 60s, 70s, and look at these people, and the obesity crisis is not here yet, right? So what changed the course of the 80s, 90s, and today, right? Well, they put more chemicals into the food, herbicides, pesticides, hormones, right? All these things were put into the foods.
Oh, man. Keep going.
the lifestyles of people change dramatically because instead of, like I mentioned earlier, being in a job where it was laborious and doing things, now it's, if you watch guys, working on the streets even, there's one guy in a backhoe and 6 other guys watching him drinking a cup of coffee, right? Our whole lifestyle has changed so drastically that we've created our own healthcare crisis.
Yeah.
And we have to be the solution to the situation too. So if you're thinking that you can run to the pharmacy and get a pill to fix it, by now you should be able to look back in history and say that doesn't work, right?
Yeah.
It has not worked.
It
It's actually
hasn't.
gotten worse.
Yeah,
So-
because we're popping more pills and just suffering more.
Yeah, so that's the problem. But where's the solution? Well, the solution lies in being able to get back to the future, right?
Yes.
We have to look back at what kind of foods we ate when we were healthier as a nation. We have to figure out how do we recreate manual labor, right? And here's the thing, and me and Eric will get into this in a second, but what you'll see is when we, in the fitness industry, now that we have these systems in place to be able to reverse these conditions, we not only notice that these people that are overweight with too much body fat, but they're also under-muscled. And when you don't have any muscles, you don't have any metabolism. And if you don't have any metabolism, no matter what you eat, it goes to your belly, to your hips, to your thighs. And unfortunately, the blood pressure goes up, the cholesterol goes up, the cardiovascular disease goes up, type 2 diabetes goes through the roof, right? These are all things that we've created a solution for to reverse these conditions so that people can be accountable. And until we as a nation are accountable for ourselves, and if you're a parent, you're accountable for your children as well. What are you teaching them? Is it okay to say America runs on Dunkin', so you can have it your way? It's the king of beers. It's the real thing. It's finger licking good. Dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun, dun.
Can't just
I'm
have
loving
one.
it, right? How are we loving it right now? We're not loving it at all, are we?
No, we're unhappy.
Yeah, we're all unhappy. We're so sick that we don't even want to move.
Yeah.
So this has become a psychological mess as well. But what I can tell you is this, is that, and Eric will attest to this too, and maybe we'll get into this with Eric a bit, is that for too long, the fitness industry didn't serve its purpose, okay? The fitness industry was interested in selling memberships, but once the membership was sold, what happens after that, Eric?
End of the relationship.
End of the relationship,
Yeah,
right?
That's true.
And not to the...
So are you talking about those gyms that are, they just want you for your membership and it doesn't matter if you show up and,
Yeah, that's that's part of it. but there's also
but
you can go
that's
or I'll go,
that's capitalism, and I don't have a problem with the capitalism part, because if you're able to make money in this world, then you have a business model that works. That's fine.
yeah.
But at what cost?
But you want to ignite everyone to get to
Exactly.
the gym
Yep.
because you really care,
We do, because we have to live amongst each other.
Yes.
Right? This is like,
Because if I'm miserable, guess
Yeah,
what? It's going
exactly.
to rub off on everyone else.
Who wants bad relationships, right?
Yeah, I certainly don't want bad relationships.
So there's been a lot of effort put forth to be able to at least now offer fitness centers a technology-based solution that allows us to get people healthy in the masses at a price that people can afford.
Well, I
See,
love that.
before you couldn't do it because the cost of a personal trainer would be $50 to $100 an hour, and you were at the mercy of whether or not that personal trainer knew what he or she was doing, right?
Yeah.
Well, if that was so successful, then personal trainers would be spitting out results day after day. Do you see that anywhere? No.
Very rare.
Very, very rare, because in order to be able to deliver a viable solution, there has to be a method, a standard method to say, you're in the
Yeah.
beauty business, right?
Yes.
If you're doing a facial, right, there's a procedure that makes that
Yes.
so the outcome at the end is X,
100%.
right?
Right.
The
Certain
fitness industry isn't
protocol.
like that at all. If you go in there, it's a mishmash of craziness. Okay, this trainer over here does this trainer does that, and guess what? There's not one picture on the wall that says, here's your before and afters, because there's nothing happening. They want to measure them on an in-body scale in the beginning to say, look at how fat you are, and then sell the training. But the problem is they don't want you to get back on there afterwards because they don't want anybody to see that nothing happened over the course of time when you spent thousands of dollars. And that was a waste of their money. And that's why people have been so disenfranchised by the fitness industry, because the fitness industry, and I'm part of it, has let them down.
Yeah, discouraged.
Discouraged and not wanting to go back again. So now because we have a solution in place, we're asking people to give fitness centers to have the RAMP system, and that's what. And by the way, that's what it's called.
So this is about the RAMP system. This is best of the best practices to get fit.
Yes, it obeys every law of fitness prescription that the exercise science tells us. So that when you
science-based, real science.
So when you come into one of the fitness centers, our coaches are taught the science of how do you take person from point A to point B safely and effectively, so that we can reverse all of these health conditions. They're not diseases, even though they want to call them a disease.
Yeah.
These are health conditions that are caused by people who have not eaten the right things and have not exercised properly.
So a true roadmap to the healthiest version of yourself. And for me, I just want to share that when I jumped into RAMP, my goal was to get strong. That was my thing, and I definitely have gotten strong over time, and it feels so much better. Because sometimes if we're looking at the, oh, I want to look good in this bathing suit, it's like, it's a head game too.
It is.
So, all right, so can you share about this, and where can we find you? Well, obviously FITLAB with Eric,
absolutely.
right?
Yeah, FITLAB, all my 5 locations for sure, but we have other participating locations, even in southern New Hampshire. I like to point out that the industry has always been so competitive. It was always, my museum's better than yours, and we were fighting over that same group of people that already exercised.
Yeah.
So now we're kind of getting together with other fitness facilities in the area, even in my market, and, having common messaging and waking more people up off the couch, because we now have a scalable solution.
Yeah.
And it's just now which gym's closest to your house.
Yeah, and we have a cohort of people that there is no way with even the fitness centers that we have right now, if we had to address the health concerns of all of that particular market that's not coming to the health clubs right now, we'd be inundated even with the technology that we have. So our goal is to unite as the fitness community. So, I spoke with Julian from the zoo clubs last night, and he's getting on board with all of his clubs too. He had just sent us over his new webpage with all the RAMP stuff and the stuff, and it's pretty exciting to see. Are they competitors in the market? Yes, but
I'm excited for them.
Yeah. See, that's the beauty. And so coming from the beauty world and the salons, and there's 1,000,001 salons, I've always said there's plenty of business to go around. Who doesn't want to be beautiful? It's just you find your people that you connect with, and then you feel beautiful, and there's plenty of business to go around. So I just love this. This is really empowering everyone to really make our nation healthier again. And because if we're really looking out for everyone else, and what our real goals are is to help people, we don't have to worry about our financial gain. That's how I believe.
It's revenue as a result of intention, right? It can be both.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
So
can you dive into what RAMP is, and how much does it cost, and what does it look like? I mean, I dove in and I'm like, all right, I'm going to commit to, and I always said I'm too busy.
Yep.
But I'm like, you know what? No, I made the time. I've done it 3 days a week for me, and
it's 3 days a week for everybody.
Yeah.
That's what's
needed.
mind-blowing.
That's all that's needed. In 30, 40 minutes in some cases, it's all you're doing. And we're honestly just meeting people where they're at. Like whatever grade level you're in, it's customized to you based on what you can and can't do.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
So we just kind of progress you over time, and so that you're never underwhelmed or overwhelmed. It's always just right. Gives you little bits of exercise, a little bit of intensity over time.
Yeah.
And you just rinse and repeat. It's that simple. And can you eat a good breakfast? Sometimes we just start there with people.
Yeah.
Because as soon as we make it an all or nothing situation, that's when people go, I'm done. I can't do this. It turns into that fad or that crash diet or that random thing somebody saw on Instagram.
Yeah.
And that's not scalable. That's not. It's not a solution. It's an ideology, but it's not anything that we can kind of build a foundation on. And that's what we've done. Is we're building a foundation because it's a
whoa. Toot toot. toot.
The train's bringing my
That's
lunch.
for us, right? Yeah. That's for
Thank you,
us.
guys.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a solution. It's honestly a business solution for our industry too. Our industry has kind of been broken for quite a while because, as we were stating before, it's always been trying to get as many people in as possible.
Yeah.
Give them their key tag. Good luck out there. You know, and that's not right.
Yeah.
But we have a solution to that.
Yeah, our attrition in the industry has been,
Dismal.
yeah, it has been abysmal. Out of the 330 million people we have in this country, which 230 million are overweight or obese, that's the sad truth, right?
Yep.
Only 60 million people are members of fitness centers.
And how many actually go?
8 million. So you see that what we're up
I
against
don't mean to
here.
laugh, but it's like,
Yeah,
I mean,
it's staggering.
I've done it. You know, I've had a membership and I haven't shown.
But
my
we get-
intention was to show up and I didn't.
We get why people don't go, though. We
Yeah.
understand why.
Yeah.
Because you came into the gym, you found the quick start button on the treadmill,
Yeah.
and that didn't work.
Yeah.
And now you just keep the membership because I want to sit, tell my doctor or my friends or whatever
Yeah.
that I have a gym membership
Yeah.
just in case I want to go sometime.
Yeah.
When in reality, it's the reason they don't go is because they don't know how to use the gym. They don't know how to exercise. They don't know what works for them.
And just a quick shout out to his partners, Chris and Ted, who
Yeah.
Yes.
when I first developed this in my own clubs it's very easy for you to say, now I'm not doing that, right? But, I was sitting down with Chris one day and I was showing him what the new plan was for delivering solutions to fitness club users, right? And he looked at it and he goes, I don't like it. And I'm looked at him and he goes, I love it. That's what he said. And he says, I'm going to talk with Eric. And then with Eric in the beginning, which was kind of a fun story, Eric was, a little skeptical, to say the least. It's like, who is this guy coming in here with this thing? But it didn't take long. Eric's a pretty sharp cookie. So we sat down and we actually talked. It was kind of almost a table just like this.
Yeah.
And we spoke about the problem and how the solution would work, and I let him actually just do it in one club within how long?
A few days.
A few days. He said, we're doing all the clubs.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was
that impactful.
That's
It really
unbelievable.
was, yeah.
So can you break that down, like what that looks like when someone comes in to start RAMP in
Yeah.
your, because I have people that have worked out like 5, 6, 7 days a week, and they're like, well, 3 days a week, give me a break.
Exactly.
Like, I don't believe it, or they need to do that, and is it okay to do that? So
More does not always mean more when it comes to fitness.
more isn't better.
It isn't better.
Bigger isn't better.
I am a, long time over exerciser. I now work out 3 days a week. I get better results now than I ever have.
And you're jacked.
I try, thank you. I try to be. I try to keep myself in shape. But back to your original question is like, what does it look like when somebody
Yeah.
comes in the gym now? And we've already explained what it was prior to that. You get your key tag and it's, good luck out there. It's now we take the time to sit down, do a proper intake. Where have you been? What do you know? What don't you know? Really learning about that person. And then what are your goals? What brings you in today? We,
Yeah.
as an industry, just skipped that step. We lost it somewhere. I don't know where it happened because I've only been in the industry about a decade. But it's now we sit down and we have a personal conversation just like we are
Yeah.
right now. We get in a room together, sit at a table, and you tell me about you.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to tell you about our system. We're going to build you a fitness prescription. It's for you, right? Everybody's prescription is different.
Yeah, because we're all different.
We are
and
all
our
different.
lifestyles are different, and our time frames are different. And
Yep. And it's, well, how do we give a prescription to somebody if everybody's different, right? And it's all based on a little test we do, a little strength test, and you went through it.
yeah.
Was that a tough?
I was like so embarrassed. I was like, whoa, I am really weak.
But you shouldn't be. I mean,
No,
I
but it
get
was
why.
good.
It's
it was a reality check.
if you don't have a starting point, we
Yeah.
don't know where you're starting. You can't effectively
Yeah.
get to your point B if you don't know where you are. Right?
So true.
It's just like being dropped in the woods or something
Yeah.
like that in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
This is a fitness GPS, right? It gets you from point A to point B effectively.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and there was
you have
no
a guarantee?
shaming or
I have
anything.
yes. I mean, this is a really cool thing that we're able to do. I do it in my facility, as some of our other licensees do it as well, and I think everybody at this point. We offer guaranteed positive results, or you get your money back.
Yeah.
We're honestly, for the first time in forever, putting our money where our mouth is and
That's
saying, if you don't get good
amazing.
results, we didn't service you and we don't deserve your money.
With one caveat.
Yeah.
You got to show up.
You got to show up.
Yeah.
Yep, 3 days
So
a week.
If you show up for your 3 days a week workout that takes 30 to 45 minutes, we give you a meal plan. Nobody ever follows a meal plan exactly in the beginning.
Yeah, I didn't, but
Nobody
I at
does.
least cut out a bunch of different things, and I was definitely more mindful with what I ate, but I was consistent
That's
with
the
my
word.
workouts. And I have to say is, I felt so comfortable when I went, even though I knew I was weak at the moment. Even it was like, okay, I can do this.
Absolutely.
3 days a week.
Yep.
So, yes, I was embarrassed for myself, but no one made me feel embarrassed. I
Right.
think that's the key thing.
Yeah, it's just always giving you a palatable amount of exercise, something you can do. And it's not telling you, here's what you should do. It's the program is built so beautifully that it's saying, here's what you're capable of based on what you could do before, right? And that's
Yeah.
very important to note, is that here's what you're capable of.
Yeah.
This is not a guess, right?
Yeah, and that update gives you exactly how much weight you lost, how much muscle you put on, and says here, it's basically a report card. It says,
Yeah.
you just spent this time and this effort doing this thing. Here is the result, right? And then when we get to that 8th week, we do that update. Because the exercise you had previously was to stimulate you to grow again, because you've actually become stronger and more fit, it doesn't work a second time around. So you have to have that update to be retested, to be able to say this is your new level of training that you have to do to get to the next level. So when we get people to a healthy body composition, for women it's between 18 and 24% body fat. For men it's from 12 to 18%. And we actually guide them to get into that range. Once you're there, healthcare costs for you is going to be 0, right?
Which is amazing.
Then that's what we really want. We want to drive, you want to make America healthy again?
Yes.
We have 40,000 health clubs in this country that need to get on board with us to say, hey, we're going to all become vertical now. It's like the medical community does. They all work in tandem with each other, right? We work as separate islands. That doesn't work. So we have to band together and say, let's go get the other 230 million people that are out there and help them get healthy, welcome them in, and say, look, I know that you're struggling. I know where you're at right now, but let's move you forward safely and effectively at a price that is second to none, because Eric charges $65 a month for the program. I mean, if you're not worth that
A month.
if you're not
That's
worth that,
that's
then
amazing.
It is, because it's, what are you
That's how
willing to
affordable it
give
is.
up, right?
Yeah.
And it's really, you don't have to give up much. When you're using trainers and things, it can get kind of pricey. But
Oh, totally.
if you can give up one morning of your Dunkins, you have a customized program
Yeah.
that's going to get you healthier.
And you feel so good.
And money back if you don't.
Yeah.
And I've still had
That's
to
a
give,
no-brainer.
I've given 0 refunds, and I'm not proud of that fact. I'm more proud of the fact that all these people started a journey. It was palatable, easy for them to follow, and they got results. It's awesome.
It's so awesome.
Yeah.
and you have a page, right?
Oh yeah, the Facebook
Yes.
page. That was
Yeah, where do we find you?
well, the Facebook page is more of like a national page for all
Okay.
of our licensees.
Okay.
It's if you go on Facebook, search Ramp by Gym Doctor.
Okay.
You can go in, you can just watch. There's some people just on the sidelines, but it's a lot of people that are already on their journey. We're posting, results. We're shouting them out when they start. We're giving them a T-shirt, and just really creating celebrities.
Yeah.
On the page. So.
They
Which
are
is
our
so-
endorsees. They're great, because we don't have to go hire anybody.
They're
they don't even
real
have to listen
people.
to
Real
us.
people.
They're real people. Said, here's where I was, here's where I am right now, and you can see the pride
Yeah.
that they have, that finally they've taken control of a situation that was out of control.
And not to
So-
mention my staff, who's just so energized to be part of a journey, right? And
Yeah.
it's not just check
Changing
in,
lives.
have a good workout. It's like they're part of that journey now. So they're so energized, so excited to be part of that. And it's just created an even more welcoming, attitude in,
so
in the
awesome.
facilities as well. Yeah. We love it.
I love it. And so are you like you're right down the road?
I'm right down here, yep.
Okay,
I go-
FitLab, the old Gold's Gym.
Yep,
That's
exactly.
what I remember.
Just a
it.
rebranded.
Yep.
Same
And
owners.
Yes,
Yep.
I used to go there with Chris,
Yep.
the other owner.
Yep, Chris Jordan, yep.
All right, so I think I'm gonna have to sign back up.
Yeah, come on over. We obviously offer the system you're already
Yeah,
using, so
yeah.
we can continue that journey, and
Which is so great.
hopefully some other people that are listening,
Yeah.
they join that journey as well. My big message to most people is we have a new way to do things. We understand why people have been disenfranchised there's been so many kind of conflicting ideologies over there.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say just reach out to a participating center. You can go on to rampgym.com, see all the participating centers that offer ramp, and you get on a phone call with somebody like me or my coaches, or and you really get to the root of what it is that makes you tick and what's going to make you get
Yeah,
those
I mean,
results.
I think people who have joined gyms that have been disenfranchised in the past, to give some of these centers that have ramp another chance, and give yourself another chance to get healthy if you're struggling, right?
Yeah.
So
And struggling with anything from
Anything.
Yes.
health issues to personal issues, mental
Of course.
health.
Oh, huge.
Mental health, it's a huge thing, you know. I love the carnivore diet. I have to do a shout out to Dr. Sean Baker too.
Yeah, hi, Sean.
He's unbelievable. So really, truly making America healthy again.
Yep.
Yeah, it
And
is.
it's that simple. 3 days a week.
One check-in at a time can make the country healthy.
Yeah.
Very simple.
So it's pretty exciting times we're entering into right now, but we have some good inroads. We have some good technology. We have some great people. We have a lot of clubs that are getting on board. It's a good-sized franchise that we're working with right now that we can probably announce very soon. But they're all geared towards, this whole let's make America healthy again, not
Yeah.
just selling them memberships, but actually producing results for people. And if that's the mantra of your gym, then that's a gym you should be in. And if they have that mantra, they should be with ramp, right?
Agreed.
And I love the simplicity. Right?
We
of
took
your
something very
program.
complex and made it very simple.
Real
Yes.
science.
Yep, from an operator's perspective, it's been a dream come true. It's been so easy for me. Like I just have to exist now and be a good person because the system allows us to just be good people now and just get somebody started on their journey, give them that little nudge, and say get out there, you can do this. So,
I love it.
yeah.
So I know we only have a second left. Thank you guys so much for coming on.
Thank you, Chrissy, for having us.
Oh my God, of course. We're going to have you come back with Jillian too. And we need, look, feel, and be strong this year. Let's make Manchester healthy again. God bless you all. And thank you guys so much.
Never give
really
up.
appreciate it. Never give up. Until next time, stay chill.